In this tutorial, we're going to talk about the sequences. The sequences allow you to set the playback order of the timelines within each campaign. And so at the level of each campaign, you can set it to either play using the scheduler or the sequencer. In a scheduler mode, you'll set the timelines to play at specific dates and times versus the sequencer that will play the timelines in an infinite loop. You can also use a repeat value per timeline. So if you wanted to have one timeline play several loops over and over before moving to the next timeline, the repeat value will allow you to do that. And you'll configure all this using drag and drop operation. So let's go ahead and jump into the Signage Studio and I'll show you how to configure all this. So currently I only have one timeline, and you can see that by default the sequences is configured at the level of the campaign. So if I select the campaign to load up its properties, I can change from sequences to scheduler, and as soon as I do that, you'll notice that this button over here will change, and again this will be done at the campaign level. Now we do have a separate video tutorials for the scheduler, so if you wanted to learn more about that, just be sure to check out that video tutorial. So right now I just have a single timeline. Let's go ahead and add 3 more timelines to this particular campaign. Click on the plus sign. It's going to call this my timeline 2. Timeline 3, and timeline 4. So right now I have 4 timelines that are set for this campaign. But how do I control the order of the playback of the timelines? And what if I wanted to have one timeline play several times before moving to the next timeline? So all that is going to be done at the sequences. So let's switch to the sequences module. And looking at the current sequences configuration, I can see that my presentation is going to run my campaign demo running first my timeline 1, then switch to timeline 2, then switch to timeline 3, and when that's over it will switch back to timeline 1, and this will continue and cycle in an infinite loop. Now if for example I wanted to play timeline 3 2 times before switching back to timeline 1, I can just go to the repeat value, change it to 2, and press on enter. And now what's going to happen, timeline 3 will play twice before switching back to timeline 1. If I wanted to change the order, I simply select one of the timelines and I can drag and drop to change the order. So if I wanted to have timeline 3 play first in my presentation for a campaign demo, I can simply go ahead and drop it, and you'll notice the small black line letting me know where am I dropping it. So I'll go ahead and drop it here, so it'll be the first. And then I'm going to go ahead and set timeline 1 to play last. So I just went ahead and reversed the order. I'll have timeline 3 play twice, then timeline 2 playing once, then timeline 1 playing once before it'll go back and switch to timeline 3 again. Now if you actually wanted to have timeline 4 play just after timeline 3, all I have to do is simply select it here from the list of timelines and drag and drop it anywhere I want. So I'm wanted to play after timeline 3, so just drop it here, and what's going to happen now is that timeline 3 will play twice, then timeline 4, 2, 1, and cycle back to 3. If you want to delete the timeline, simply select it and press the delete button. Click yes, and you can remove the timeline from the sequences. So the sequences module is a simple way for you to control the order of the playback of the timelines per campaign. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial, and thanks for watching.